client creation community. And I've got a little program called the 10K Client Formula. Today, we'll be talking to you about Get Paid to Speak Live. And I'm going to ask Sean, who's my keynote speaker, who'll be part of it, just some nuggets, some secrets about getting booked on TEDx. That's his specialty, and just really what it's opened up for him inside of his career and his life as a veteran, right? And not just a veteran in the sort of coaching and speaking industry, but also a real life veteran. Like that's a wealth of life experience. So you bring so much freaking value in every conversation that we have. And what I love about you, Sean, is like you're so straight to like you understand like reprogramming your subconscious mind, and you're all about like taking massive action and like getting results quickly. Because I know there's a lot of people who like really into the working on your internal world and then don't like do any aligned actions with that. And you kind of bring the best of both worlds into it, which is really, really exciting. So welcome, Sean. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy and working with me on this amazing project. And how would you say how do you like to introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do anyway?
Yeah, man. So I am a military veteran of the Air Force, U.S. Air Force. I'm also a TEDx speaker, a business positioning strategist, and a podcaster. Love podcasting, man. I host Life Transformation Radio, which is a live online radio show Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Blog Talk Radio Network. And I have 2 more podcasts coming out in the month of September called Failed Dinner Conversations and Create, Launch, Monetize Podcast, where we teach you how to create, launch, and monetize anything from events, your speaker career, a podcast, a book, a program, product, service, whatever it is that you want to create, launch, and then monetize. We'll show you how to do that. And I'm also an international best-selling author, and I'm a suicide survivor. So I teach resilience skills to military members and veterans based on what I learned going through all my dark night of the soul. And I carry that moment with me as a reminder that I have a responsibility to teach others how to live an amazingly beautiful life. And I love that you talked about reprogramming subconscious. That's what my TEDx talk is on, is actually hacking your brain in order for you to be successful. And how do you rewire your brain's hippocampus and to make it successful. So love it.
I love that so much. Like literally everything you talk about, from resilience to reprogramming your mind and living your best life and getting paid for speaking and showing up fully by like literally being yourself. Like all subjects I totally absolutely love. And I know we're going to go way deeper on each of those subjects, at the event, which I'm so pumped about. But like, you know what, one of the things that I picked up that I like about you is like you're also a business consultant, right? You have all the business wits to it. And, as we're talking to people who are becoming speakers and want to start creating more clients and getting paid better, like just how can you speak to the importance of that? Like what's the importance of positioning, and how does TEDx, right? How does that like feed into that?
Positioning is everything, which is the next book I'm going to write. And I'm in the middle of writing, is called Positioning is Everything. And either you position yourself or the marketplace will position you. And once the marketplace positions you as somebody or an entity or organization, or you have a bad reputation or what have you, once the marketplace positions you, you're done. That's it. It's so hard to break the perception of what people think about you. Positioning is the way that the marketplace receives and perceives the value that you deliver. That's it. That's positioning. And it's a micro state. Positioning is the way that the marketplace receives and perceives your value. So if they don't think that you're valuable enough for them, and sometimes they're not even your marketplace. I like you talk about getting booked at TEDx. Maybe somebody who is not a speaker doesn't care about TEDx. They don't, yeah, I watch a couple, but I don't really care. That's not my marketplace. My marketplace is speakers who want to speak. They want to be in that red circle speaking at TEDx. That's the market. People think of marketplace as an industry, and it's wrong. Your marketplace is your pool of potential customers that know you, like you, and trust you, and who will do business with you. The end. That's your marketplace.
Simple.
Billions of people are not your marketplace. I have a podcast. The podcast industry is not my marketplace. However, comma, with the Create, Launch, Monetize podcast, I've another set of marketplaces, people who want to start a podcast. See what I'm saying? So you can create marketplaces anytime you want to. If you want to create a book on reprogramming your subconscious, maybe that's not your marketplace right now. But guess what happens? As soon as you create a book called Reprogramming Your Subconscious and then have a to do what at the end and I hate live an amazing life. Like I hate that because it's not quantifiable. Yeah, but if you said reprogramming your subconscious to grow $1 million business, that's tangible. Yeah. That's realistic. You can definitely do that. So now you let in open up a marketplace for people who want to reprogram their subconscious, who are holding themselves back. So you've automatically opened yourself up and positioned you inside of another category. And that's the proper way to do it.
So much gold in there, because I too have worked with a lot of sort of mindset coaches and people who are wanting to become entrepreneurs. And it's especially with people who understand the subconscious mind, it gets so now as experts, we can geek out on the process of that, which is the airplane. Right. Not enough people speak around the destination, which is Hawaii or hell, right? You can also speak about Hell Island. Hey, if you want to get out, of depression and development of the soul and breakdown, and you want to go into Hawaii, right? I have a plane, and it can be as simple as that. I have a program, and that's so that's so key. And two, I can imagine, right? I can imagine that, once you have the TEDx level of authority, which is why I'm personally looking forward to doing something like this, is that, people need kind of a justification to invest with you, right? One, like, and trust factor. So now you're expanding your audience to people who watch TEDx, one. And two, it's a real level of authority. So if they need to justify why they invest with you, why they invest with you as opposed to the next person, well, this person, right? It's pretty legit. Like, it legitimizes you. So super cool.
Yep. Absolutely.
What would you say what would you say are the biggest mistakes that people are making when it comes to getting booked and also to getting positioned in a way that they're experts?
So the biggest mistake that people make when trying to book themselves to speak, period, is trying to mold the marketplace into their talk. It's the opposite. Speakers are egotistical. They mostly are. Most of the speakers that I encounter are all egotistical. I have a program. I have a story. I. And every time you say I, means that you are egotistical and not audience-centered. What should happen is, step one, let's say that you want to create a speaker business. Step one, it's not, well, I want to talk about this. That has nothing to do with it. Speaking isn't about you anyways. It's about the audience and the value that the audience is going to get, which is how most speakers fail and are broke. You know that starving artist? Most of them are speakers.
Starving speaking artists. That's funny.
Because they want to speak about them, or better yet, to prove my point further, you ever sat there in the audience at an event and the speaker comes on, and the first thing he does when he walks out, he waves everybody, he's like, "Hi, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited to speak at this event, and I'm so honored that I was asked." And like, all they've done is sit there and for the first couple minutes, right?
Wasting time.
Then they say, "Thank you so much for the event planner to hire me, and thank you so much." And what I want to talk about, like, and then they go into the story. "I remember back in the day when I did this and this, and man, I was da-da-da-da-da," whatever. I never do that. You've quantified yourself for 10 minutes for no stage. For that 30 to 40 to 50 minutes that you're on stage are the authority. Inherently, the audience knows the value that you have of being on stage, the intrinsic value that you own as the title of speaker is already there. So shut up. Stop talking about yourself. It's
Yeah.
so irritating for me to sit in an audience. I'm like, ugh, gag me. Let's go. Where's your content? Let's go. So what I do is I walk on stage, I ask a couple questions. Right? Like, who here is here for this reason? My favorite one is networking events. Who here came to the networking event to sell something? Pretty much everybody raises their hand. Now, raise your hand if you came to this networking event to buy something. No hands go up. I'm like, you've already done failed. Every single one of you. Everybody's trying to sell each other. Nobody's buying. How about we build relationships? How about that? Speaking business is a relationship business. It's not a me business. It's not an I business. It's a relationship business. You build relationships. I applied to speak one time. She said no. I'm like, oh, wow. Can I know why? She goes, I just don't think you're the right fit. I'm like, okay. 3 years later, I was the headliner at her event. It was an annual event. I was the headliner. She goes, I thought you were going to be special or I thought you were going to be great or something like that. And I was like, really? Like, you told me no. She goes, because you look like a $1 speaker. Oh. Now your videos, your content, your social media, your website, everything about you screams 10K speaker, and you have a TEDx event. I'm like, that's true. I didn't have a TEDx before. In 2015, I didn't have a TEDx. That was brand new. She's like, no way would I put a green speaker. Way. She goes, I only have veteran speakers or like people who are really, really, really good. She goes, there's no way I have somebody who's green on my speaker or on my stage as a speaker. Like, fair enough. So she positioned me automatically. She positioned me as a new speaker. I'm a greenhorn. I got nothing. She's like, you have no value. You bring nothing to the table. So again, it's the value that you bring to the audience. That is what matters. So don't qualify yourself. Biggest mistake that speakers make is sitting there qualifying themselves. Here's my testimonials. Dude, it's not a webinar. What are you doing? You're not doing a webinar. You're literally having a conversation with the audience. So give them the value. And that by far is the biggest mistake, is trying to fit my talk. Basically what I want to talk about and say, this is for you, and like making it like you have to listen to this because, trying to fit them into my talk. The way to do it is you mold your talk around the audience's needs. That's the way to do it. You fit your talk into what the audience needs. If I talk about business, I'm like, well, what's the audience need? Oh, they want to talk about funnels. They want to talk about podcasts. They want to talk about this or this or this or this. So I can tell a little bit of story and then boom, go into high dollar value. If I want to talk about TEDx, like something on TEDx, I've got to deliver that value, and it has to match the theme of the event, which most speakers are like, well, I'm going to talk about diversity. Well, this event isn't talking about diversity. This event's talking about mindset. Like, how does diversity go into like a mindset of diversity, maybe? But like, they want to talk about your mind, your brain.
Yeah, it's kind of like people, they're like hammers and everyone is a nail, right? It's like,
yes,
hammer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Such amazing value bombs. I want to say, anybody watching this right now, if you get an insight, just drop a hashtag value, or even better, drop a hashtag insight in exactly your one sentence insight. So that way you integrate the lesson, you let us know you're getting value, and you're teaching the next person who's watching this, something. So always love your value bombs. And just want to share with you something real quick. When we did our last Get Paid to Speak Live, and I didn't even know you yet, even without all of your expertise, we did a post, we did a messaging post that we did at that event that's got people booked immediately. And I didn't expect this, but I was just doing it to model it. Like, here's how you do the post, right? And I hit send. And since then, somebody who's actually part of an organization called Prosponica, they're looking for a leadership coach on mindset for Latinos. So that happened when we last talked. And so now I got a paid speaking opportunity.
There you go. See?
And so I just want to share with you a little win. And it was great. And because I learned from you, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. I asked them intelligent questions. So I asked you, why did you think I would be a good fit? And who's your audience? And, what's about your audience? What's your biggest challenge right now? right? And you're like, oh, with all that's going on, you're like, they're just struggling with confidence and they're looking for opportunities in the market, like how to get promoted. The MBAs, so they all have MBAs,
Yep.
looking to get MBAs. And so they want to know how to advance in their careers in that way, right? So of course I'm not going to go in, and I'm like a hammer too. Like I love entrepreneurship. I'm like, you guys want to start a business, start a business, start a business. So I have to like slow down. Okay, how can we use what I know in a way that helps you with your goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so so that happened, and by the way, I saw that you did a post in one of our friends groups, and that's Cove. He's got the brand builder group. So big shout out to Cove. He's a great guy. And I saw you put a template out there. So I just want to acknowledge you, Sean, for like the level of value, even on these calls and our interviews, level of value to give out for free. That's freaking game changer. That's like thousands of dollars worth of value. And
I love doing that.
Dude, it's so great.
I love doing that. I give everything away for free.
That's
because 90% of the people won't do anything with it anyways.
Yeah, that's the truth, man.
I mean, I give everything away for free because I know people won't even use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it for positioning reasons. I'm like, hey guys, check this out. So here's what everybody does. Hey guys, if you want my amazing template that is going to get you booked to speak every single day of the week, PM me or go to this link, or for $9.99, for $9.99, you'll get all my templates. They either try to sell it, they try to gate it, those are expectations. And most people don't want your expectations or nor will they meet your expectations. If I say, hey, everybody, I have an amazing template. Here is where it's at. Go to this link, type in your email address, and I'll give you 5 email templates, whatever. All they're going to do is click on the link, or they're going to give me an email address and then unsubscribe right away. I'm not stupid. That's what they're going to do.
The deal is like, hey, I don't want you to pitch to me. I just want the thing that you
exactly. All they want is the thing, right? So all they want is the thing. That's what they want, the thing. So here's what you do. You give it to them for free with no ask, with no expectation. You know how hard that is for people? That's not what they're called. That's not what they're coached. That's not what they're taught. I will tell you that I make way more money giving away things for free. Like I literally gave away my entire book launch sequence. What happened was I launched a book for somebody. They then tried to sell what I just sold them like a year later after the book hit #1. And we did this big speaking tour. We created a movement, podcast. I mean, we blew this thing out brand huge. The person is massive now. So they got TV shows that they're always on. Good Morning America. They're the household name. They then tried to sell it because my buddy was following them. They were like, yo, I got the bestseller book launch, whatever. I'm like, what? So they tried to sell my friend into it. And then he contacts me. I'm like, that's funny because I only gave him half the info. Like I did a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. They don't know everything I did. Well, that epically failed. So what was great about that was I gave it away for free in a LinkedIn article and in a Facebook post. I gave away everything for free. 2 people contact me. Yo, love the launch sequence. Let's do this. I'm like, wait, my call to action was, if you're interested in launching a book, this is the way we'll work together. Let's do it. I literally gave out a pitch. Use this template. Use this. Everything. And they said, let's do it. I literally got like $3,000 from that post to launch a book for somebody. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is so stupid. You have the blueprint. Like, and here's what he tells me. I just don't have the time. I just want somebody to do it for me. Got it. I'll do it for you. And we put his book on #1. It went straight to #1 new release, #1 bestseller. Like we did the whole thing, right? And I think it's so funny the level of ridiculousness I see where someone's like, nah, I'll just pay somebody to do it. I'm like, hey, outsource it. You want to outsource it? I'll be glad to do it. But I just look at it. I'm like, dude, you have it in front of you. You have the blueprint. Just work the system. Just work it. Dude. But they don't want to do it, and they'll just pay somebody else to do it. I'm like, hey, man, I'll gladly do it for you. Dude. But I find it so funny.
It is, dude. I actually am laughing kind of at a past version of myself too, because I remember Googling I know what to do. Why is it so hard to do it? And then I got this one look at, and I found a book that was titled exactly that. It's like, why is it so hard to do what I know I need to do? And I started reading it. I was like, this is bullshit. Like this is not actually helping. And now I understand more about the power of the subconscious mind and words too. Like what you focus on expands. Like if you ask yourself, why can't I do it? And you find all these answers. then yeah, you're not ever going to do it. But if you find yourself, why can't I do it? How can I make this possible?
Always ask better questions.
Yeah, it's a way better questions, and it leads into opportunities. And anyway, what I love about your strategy is it's like you moving the free line, right? You just, and I've started doing this too. It was actually incredible. Like when COVID hit, I knew like, okay, now my people need my help more than ever. And my mastermind at the time had sold for $8,000, and for 3 months. And what I did is like, fuck it. Like right now, people need more than ever. I made it available for free for the duration. And it was interesting. I felt uncomfortable right away. I was not comfortable with doing it. I was just like, well, one, selfishly, sort of for me, like I got to stay relevant. Like people, like there's so much noise right now in the marketplace. How do you know, right? But if you're being relevant by giving value to people, I was kind of doing the thing where I'm like, look, I'm showing you that I can help you by helping you. Like, you know what I mean? That's and that's what I feel like what you've been doing. And it's been great. Some people have gone through my container, getting more help and support, for free than they would in these 10K programs. And that's great that we're happy with that. And then, of course, now working with people one-on-one has become that much more coveted. You know what I mean? It's not available for everyone anymore. And that's why it's more valuable. So love that. So I think
absolutely, man.
Yeah. So I want to ask people if there's an insight here for anybody. Drop a hashtag insight.
You know what you said. I don't mind giving things away for free, especially at like summits and things, even if it's a free summit or a podcast or a Facebook Live or whatever. Because more than likely, and what I've seen in the past, 90% of the time, someone's going to go, wow, this dude is super smart and super knowledgeable. I'm going to follow him for a while. Mm-hmm. I wonder what else he has. If this is that good, if this free content is that good, I wonder what his paid content is. I wonder if he's got any books. Does he have any books? Like, I wonder, because they're like, dude, if this is the free stuff, can you imagine what's behind the paywall? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine what this guy has?
Yeah, man.
And that's what it comes down to, man. Like, what do you? Because I won't. And I've been in this game a long time. There are people that I don't follow, and I never will follow. I don't care what they give away for free, because I know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's those posts that are like, "Hey, just created the something. Click or put hashtag whatever, and I'll PM you the link." And I'm like, "Why don't you just give the link in the comments? Like, hey, click on the link in the first comments if you want it. If you want it, cool. If you're not, then what's up. That's awesome." But no, they're gonna like email you and spam you and Facebook message you or like DM you or like whatever, and people don't want that stuff. Like drop, hit hashtag whatever if you want this, or hit hashtag. Number one, they're just trying to get engagement on their post. That's all they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh, don't hate like. I just laugh, man. I'm like, dude, you're leaving so much money on the table, and you look new, and you look like success is there. Success has been modeled many times. Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins is not doing a Facebook Live going, yo, drop a hashtag, like hashtag Tony, and I'll PM you. Like, dude, he's not doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, dude, here's my stuff. If you want it, cool. If not, then don't. I don't care. But he's got funnels, and he's got the things, like he's got systems. Like, that is not a system. Posting on social media and telling people to drop a hashtag and you'll PM them, and like, that's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It just is.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a magic to it, right? There is. The people who have a system, behind that. I know Alex, like one of my mentors, Alex Moscow, made 7 figures with that method, but it's not like he just does a post and like sees what happened. It's like this entire background strategy, like behind it.
There's a background strategy, yeah.
And then guess what? Virtual events, which we're going to be doing one, is part of the strategy, right? And so you can have that's the key. You got to have some kind of a funnel, some kind of a system where everything makes sense. Otherwise, people are just waking up and like, see what I'm going to post today, and like put it out there. And that's nerve-wracking. I mean, that's exhausting. I mean, I used to do that. Like, I got to be honest. I used to do that. Then I found the people who have this like.
But it never worked. That's the thing. It never worked.
No, so I'll be honest. Like Andrew Crozy, he's the founder of Seven Figure CEO. He built a whole mastermind around sort of the social selling system, and he had a thing called the Group Growth Monetization Blueprint. And that was actually a system where you funnel people into a Facebook group, give them massive value. They're kind of like moving their free line, what you talked about.
Massive value. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the key, and that's what I modeled inside of my group, which is now at 700 conscious entrepreneurs, and most of them know me. Like most of them have been on trainings or on calls with me, and I've served them.
Yep.
And so now when I do, we're going there live now. So like now when I make an offer there, it's like cool, Miro's legit. I already know. I already got this much from free stuff. So like the next step, it's just like it's a no-brainer for them, and I love that. And I also believe in congruency. It's so important to have an integrity and like basically walk your talk. Because if you teach somebody something or anything that you haven't done or are willing to do yourself, then it's going to come through. There's an energy in your voice and how you feel about yourself. There's this disconnect. And so I think one of the biggest, I'm sure you've seen this too. And what it also is like, I think the limiting bit about that is that it also means that this person believes that nothing that they can do or that they have that is helpful for another person. And that's, I think, the biggest lie ever. Because if no matter where you're at, right, how big of a failure you are, chances are you are alive, right? And so there's somebody who needs your help just because they might be exactly where you were, 3 years ago or whatever.
Yep.
And then there's a magic to what I'm learning now, I'm getting really into is like speaking to, and talk about positioning, I'd love your opinion on this, speaking to like the high caliber, like high value clients, the level of clients that are pay you 10K and plus for your services. I'm just learning a lot about that and dialing my messaging and sharing that with my clients too. And I would love to know, like, what's your experience with that? Like, what's the difference between like the type of client that buys at like 10K versus the people who are looking for freebies and like $100 and stuff like that?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
There's no difference.
Badass.
People only let me put it like this. People will only pay for the value that they see in themselves. They will never buy a 10K program if they don't feel like they're worth 10K.
That's it.
People only pay for the value that they see inside themselves. You might be a 10K person. You might be a 100K person. The value that you might give somebody. So, for example, I gave somebody a piece of advice one time, and we were talking about becoming he's a new speaker, and he's had a couple places that have booked him, for free. He's never really been paid. I said, well, did you graduate college? Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I got the back undergrad that you had. He's
Oh, connection is a little spotty. I don't know if that's me.
If you can come speak, or do they hire speakers? This is how my life is now.
Oh man, I'm just hearing bits and pieces of what you're saying, but I'm feeling it's a massive value bump. No, we lost him. There was so much gold in there. All right, let's see if we can get Sean back. But people only value, what did he say? People only pay for what they value themselves at or something. People pay for the value they see in themselves. That's what he said. Man, what a bomb. All right, let's see if we can get him back. We want Sean. We want Sean. So stay with me, guys. If you find this valuable, just drop a comment with your biggest insights so far. I'm gonna see if we can get Sean back. Sean tells me that I left. All right, well. We're back.
Was it just like you left and then I was sitting here by myself and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I got bored. I was like, nah, I don't want to listen to Sean.
That was so crazy. But yeah, so I give that guy the tip, and then he calls up his college, tells me exactly what I said, and they're like, yeah, we'll talk to somebody about it. 2 days later, they're like, we'd love for you to come back and speak, and yeah, we'll pay you the $1,000. So he paid him $1,000. First time he ever got paid. Took some picture of the check, and he's like, dude, holy crap! And then he gone on to do like 12 more gigs after that. Just following my steps, man. I'm like, do this, do this, do this. And, yep, I'll do it. Follow it to the T. Boom, got paid. Got a guy who just added 12 virtual summits. You know, he's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, dude, it's a little bit different. Do it. Here's how you approach it. You know, the problem you solve. And then once you nail it down, man, it's like work the system. Just work the system. Rinse and repeat, man. Yeah. Just work the system. The system works. You just have to work the system. It's like Facebook ads. Everybody's like, oh, Facebook ads suck. You're right. Facebook ads suck. I don't think anybody should use Facebook ads. However, Facebook ads work really well if you work the system. There's a system to do it. You should know how to work the system. So you can't say, well, Facebook ads is trash and I would never use it. You're absolutely right. However, Facebook ads also work really, really, really well. Mm-hmm. So work the system.
Man, and I think like everyone's different too. And one of the things I love about like doing work one-on-one, it's kind of like I personally, I don't know what your experience is with this, but I've hired so many coaches and mentors, and what I found, what didn't work for me is like cookie cutter things, you know, because there's a level of self-awareness where like some people are different. Like I wouldn't, coach like an ENFP type person the same way like an INFJ, right? Like a super extroverted, intuitive feeling type person.
Myers-Briggs, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Busting up the Myers-Briggs.
I'm bursting it out. And they have another one that's called Wealth Dynamics that I really love. Like there's a different wealth flow that people have. Mm-hmm. In that there's creators, like people who just need to be creating, whatever it is. Like whether it's, video content or whatever, they need to be creating something. And then there's others who are like supporters. So I'm a connector. I need to be connecting people and helping people win. Mm-hmm. So like when we it's same like Oprah Winfrey and Mark Zuckerberg, right? If you had them switch roles, like they wouldn't both be millionaires. They'd both be miserable and broke, right?
Right.
So like really what your genius zone is and what your flow is, like that's one of my favorite things in the world to like help people figure it out. And I found that ENFPs do really well with the speaking because we can never shut the fuck up, and we love the podcast and talking fast and like talking to people. And it gives us energy, right? That's how we get energy. And but yeah, so like putting people like really where they belong, and you can 100%, you can be an introvert and be paid to speak really well, right? A lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know a lot of introverts that are speakers, and as soon as they get off stage, they're spent emotionally, energetically. They're spent. They're like, I gotta go lay down. Like it took all of their energy to get out a 45-minute keynote.
Dude,
and then I'm I'm getting off the stage. I'm a high fiving people. I'm like, let's go to lunch, and I'm giving more value, and I'm gonna stay for the rest of the day. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I want to be a part of this thing. I got energy for days. Some people don't. Some people are like, they give all their energy, and they're done. Leave me alone.
I literally like after the last event I did with Jen Rudolph's group. I was invited to speak to their like group of like their high level masterminds, that 2% masterminds, like high performing actors, the type of people that win Emmys and like book them HBO and like those things. And I got to speak to them and share with them, my manifestation and mindset practices and help them attract vibrational marketing. Like, and they got the results immediately. I loved it. It was so amazing. Everybody loved it. They booked like my calendar solid for the next week, and I remember feeling so freaking energized afterwards. I was like, dude, that's literally all I want to do every single day. And really finding more exactly what I love doing, and who I love doing it with, like high performers. It just feels the absolute best. So I'm so grateful we're connecting because like that's literally all you do. Like you just like operate in your genius zone. Can you talk to me more about that? Like what has life been like, since you discovered your TEDx level positioning and authority? Like what has this been like for you? Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm like you're a veteran, I'm like a toddler in this space, right? I feel like I'm just getting started. Yeah, I'm getting results, my clients are getting results, is awesome, and I'm fucking just getting started. That's how I think about it, right?
Yeah.
Because of where I'm going,
Sure.
But like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'm a happy thousandaire, man. Like I don't think that you're successful because you make $1 million a year. Would
Mm-hmm.
I like $1 million a year? Absolutely. I ran businesses that were 650K. I created 650K businesses, and I was freaking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I rewired my brain to be more of a successful. There was a theme of the questions that I would ask, more of like a rhetorical question that I would ask. But what's great about this? Every moment of every day, my
Yeah,
mind is instantly thinking, what's great about this?
that's
And
great.
so I hear something, I was like, you know what's great about that? And some people are just always negative. They're like, oh man, that's a lot of work. And oh geez, yeah, man. I literally could have answered your question by going, man, there's a lot of ups and downs. Oh man, there's so many, man, everything, so many ups and downs, and it's really hard and it's really tough and long night. Like I just go all negative. Or in my mind, I immediately, when you said, like when you find your zone of genius and you got your TEDx, like, immediately I was like, wow, okay, so it's a lot of work. Okay. Yeah. And I love what I do. But I immediately went to positive. I feel myself, whenever I want to answer a question, I immediately resort to positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how I've wired myself to think. I've wired myself because where focus goes, energy flows.
That's it.
So if you focus on positive, you'll be positive. If you focus on the negatives, then you'll see negatives. It's like the car. You like a car, you don't see anybody. Oh, nobody's got this car. Nobody. I don't see this car anywhere. You buy it, everybody has it. Well, that's because everybody had it. You just didn't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool.
For me, I love what I do. I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 people, 7, I think, that I'm working with right now that are launching podcasts and launching books and launching businesses. I've got 2 more podcasts coming out. It's just always creating, always moving forward. You can create 10 books if you wanted to, but what's that going to do for you? Every single thing that you create, launch, and monetize has to be for the bigger picture. It has to be a stepping stone. There has to be a reason. You don't just start a podcast because somebody on Google said, man, you need a podcast because that's what's going to give you credibility and authority. It's not. There's over 1 million podcasts now. It's 1.22 million podcasts right now. And you know how many people know? Like 20. People listen to like maybe 20 podcasts. I have a list of podcasts that I listen to. My favorite podcast. People are like, oh man, you got to listen to this guy. Like, who's that? Like, why would I want to listen to that guy? Listen to a couple episodes. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to what I was listening to. Mm-hmm. People have their niche. They have their favorite shows. They have their favorite people. The most important idea that you could have ever come into your mind is, how can I serve? What problem can I solve? As soon as you start down this road of creating problems that only you can solve, life gets real good. Create a problem that only you can solve.
How do you mean create a problem? Now you have me intrigued.
What I'm about to tell you is something that hardly anybody talks about. Like in social media groups, they'll say, I'm trying to build a business, but I don't know what to do. And people say, what problem do you solve? What problem do you solve? That was the first question, right? I take it a step further. I have a friend of mine named Christopher Lochhead. He is the #1 marketing podcast. Him and Joe Polish go back and forth. #1 marketing podcast called Lochhead on Marketing, or Follow Your Different. Follow Your Difference. Amazing. It used to be Legends and Losers, but it's called Follow Your Different. #1 podcast. The category. So Christopher Lochhead taught me to think in problems and positivity. If you see something and you're like, I can fix that, that's a problem. Now you just got to figure out how to monetize it. Everything can be monetized. Everything. Especially problems. Because people run away from problems. They also buy with emotions and justify with logic. So based on the problem, they're like, oh, I don't want this problem. I don't want this problem. Or what's great about this is that, see, there was again. What's great about this? What's great about this, you could create a problem you didn't even know existed. For example, you're doing a virtual summit. You're going to have me as one of your speakers. If I had a service that served virtual summit hosts in order to put butts in the seats and make money, that might be a problem that you didn't even think of. Like, nah, I got it under control. I got it. Like, well, what if we only have like 20 people show up? How are you going to pay for all your speakers? And how are you going to do this? And how are you going to do this? How do you deliver all of those programs and products and services that those speakers might offer? They might make a soft offer. How do you plan on collecting all of those? Are you going to put it in a document? Are you going to make a video about it? Are you going to have advertisements? How are you going to deliver all that? And now you start like, well, how is this? And what are you going to do for this? And and they're like, oh man, I don't really know. Like, that's why you hire me. I'll show you how to collect all of that data. I'll show you how to compile all of those speakers, programs, products, and services. Like, interesting. So immediately, only because my first business was an events business, we used to be an entertainment company, and we would do karaoke in bars and clubs and summits and conferences and all that. The AV guys, right? Yeah. And we would do wedding videos. We created wedding videos. We created marketing for the events. Like, we helped market the event through our video production. And so if you don't have any of those assets, like, how do you plan on marketing your event? They're like, well, I was just going to do it. I was just going to have it, and people are going to show up. I build it, they will come, right? Field the dreams. No, man, that's not how it goes. You need a landing page. You need a sign-up page. You're going to take money. You need to have it connected to a PayPal. You need to connect it to a paywall. And then you need to, right? So there's like all this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that. But I'll show you how to do that. For X amount of dollars, I'll work with you one-on-one, and I'll be your event coordinator. Like, oh my God, yes, please do that. Because all you did was create a problem for that person who didn't know that was a problem.
Gotcha. So that's interesting, because it's really all about problem awareness, right? You're just like expanding their mindset around things that they don't even know that they need to solve. And that's
100,000%. You are solving problems that they didn't even know needed to be solved.
Dude, and that's
creating a problem that they never knew existed.
Yeah, dude, it's so interesting. This is like unique problem that comes up that I want to share. It's like a lot of the people, like you know, earlier in this call, one of my favorite things you said is that people pay for the value they see in themselves. And, you know, like, it's so interesting, like, because I work with people on their confidence and their level of self-worth. And I'll tell them, like, I have 10K and 16K programs, like all that stuff. They don't feel worthy of it, even though they have the money. Like, literally, this guy, I just attracted somebody who's ready for, you know, he has 30K in the bank, you know, for an opportunity fund that he was ready to invest. So I qualify my people, right?
There you go.
And then I made him an offer, and because of his worthiness and his confidence, it's just like, he couldn't do it. And so now I got to actually like have something like lower level where I can help people boost their like level of self-trust and their level of confidence, so they can feel worthy of it, attract more abundance in their life too. And that, so that they can even take the next step with me, you know what I mean? Or I just like, you know, work with the people who, they already have done all of the inner work. You know, they already realized that they're, you know, imperfect and perfect at the same time, and it's just time to take massive action. Because that's the thing, like, you know, one of the biggest lessons that I'll share with my group the other day, and we have to go in a bit. I'm having too much fun. Which is that there's like another person, another event, some other thing that you need to do first before you can be happy, right? And I think that's what you pointed out with what you're saying, how you rewired your brain. What's great about this now, right? Because if we don't find happiness now and joy and ecstasy and like all of the things that we want now and realize that's here now, then it's just like not going to be different at millions of dollars, right?
Happiness chasers.
Yeah, and so that's like
happiness
the most
chasers.
Yeah, same with relationships. You know, it's like this person doesn't fulfill me. This person doesn't make me happy. It's like, okay, how do you make you happy? Like, you know, it's a tough expectation to put on somebody else to, you know, we're basically chasing things that we don't need, right? To solve problems that are internal problems, you know,
and self-inflicted.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, that's one of my like favorite things, is to help people realize the value inside of themselves, and then feel fucking confident, and then from there becoming exact, you know, matches to the dream life that they want to create. Because like, you already are that. Like, you already are fucking amazing and perfect, and whatever we want and desire is only also like the reflection of ourselves, like something that is part of us too. So anyway, if you guys are watching this and you're finding any kind of inspiration in this, you're worthy and deserving of being part of this here right now. And if you want to join us at Get Paid to Speak Live, would love to have you and share more knowledge with Sean, who's going to be laying it down, the TEDx framework and all the good stuff, getting you paid, getting you booked, getting your authority dialed in.
Oh yeah,
dude, I'm so pumped. Do you have anything else to say for our people before we hop off?
Just do it. Just do it. Like, why are you talking yourself out of it? I will never let somebody talk me into something that I know that I don't need. Like that's it, right? We always talk about overcoming objections. You know, if somebody goes, like if you say, man, come on, Sean, it's 10K. You're getting an amazing mindset. For me, immediately in my mind, I'm like, well, what's my ROI? What if I already have an amazing mindset? So something that I want to cover, and I think this would be great to end with, is what is your take on mindset? Like, what's the percentage of someone that like the mindset that an entrepreneur and business owner should have, as opposed to like strategy or confidence? Or if you had to take mixtures of something and you get 100% of something, how much does mindset play a part?
Knowing you, man, I think when I first met you, I would have answered this question differently. Right? So now that I know you, I would say I know like the common answer is like the 80-20, right? It's all in your
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Or even 90%. But I think that, now that we're talking, and also in my life experience, I came from the streets of Germany to being here now. And it was the power of a decision. You know what I mean? I think making a commitment and a decision goes way further than any level of, rewiring your brain or like whatever hypnosis and things will do. So you could literally just decide, this year, 2020, no matter what happens in the external world, even with COVID, I'm living my dream. It's happening now, or I'm preparing myself now, right, to get ready make this the next, best 10 years of my life. And that's a decision away. So I would say, all of the other mindset tools and words of affirmations, all the stuff, they're all great. They all work. And, making a powerful decision and then taking aligned actions with that is going to be, infinitely greater, 10x greater than that. So whatever, I would say 10%, boom, 10% mindset, 90% making fucking decisions, using the strategy that works. It's proven.
Love it.
Over and over again. What do you say?
Love it. I always tell people 30% mindset. Everyone's like, no, mindset is all in on mindset. Dude, you could have an amazing mindset. I have an amazing mindset. I mean, if you just knew, like from suicide survivor to freaking like what I'm doing now, man, like you can't get any lower than what I went through unless you're dead, So no, it's not. Strategy. You can have an amazing mindset. You can be all in on your mindset. I'm an amazing person. I love myself, but your strategy sucks. Mindset's not going to get you paid, my friend. Strategy is what gets you paid.
Yeah.
Mindset is the vehicle you're in while driving on the road of strategy. Strategy is the road. Mindset's the vehicle. So 30%. Look, man, if it's got 4 wheels and the sucker runs, hit the gas, man. Let's do this. Yeah. Everybody has a piece of crap car. Everybody has had their first piece of crap. I know cars that are duct taped together. Guess what? The road's not the problem, right? The car might be the problem, or the car might be the problem, or the car might be good, but the road's the problem. You could have a brand new Tesla, but if you're driving on a dirt road, you're going nowhere fast, right?
Dude, so true.
That strategy has got to be sound, man. That road has got to be paved so nice and smooth, because guess what happens? You get a win, and that strategy got you that win. And what happens? Your mindset gets increased. And then another win, and another win, and another win, and another win. And pretty soon you racked up so many wins, your mindset has now equaled the level of your strategy. And guess what happens? It's a funny feeling, is that your strategy improves as your mindset improves. So that guy who said, no, man, I don't know, 10K, whew, that's way too much, man. My instance, like, I'm game. What's my ROI? Say yes and figure it out.
Exactly, dude. And that's always been my way, dude.
Say yes and figure it out. Because the minute you start saying no, you're cutting yourself off to new opportunities and new ideas that you would have never knew existed had you said yes. So my final thought for this moment, 30% mindset, 70% strategy. Build the strategies and your mindset will come. Set tangible goals, say yes, and figure it out. This Friday, we're going to teach you all about the mindset, all about getting booked and paid to speak and getting booked at TEDx. If you don't show, you have no one to blame but yourself why you're not getting booked to speak and getting on TEDx. So show up, play full out, and learn something. Get one takeaway, use it in your business, learn from us who have been there, done that, and are giving back and serving those who want to follow in our footsteps. I would love at least 10 people. Sign up right now. As soon as you're done watching this, sign up and say, you know what? I'm doing this. Say yes and figure it out. And I promise you the value that you're going to receive this week is going to be unmatched by anything that you've seen this year. I promise you.
Boom. 100%, brother. Thank you so much for showing up. If you're still here, obviously by now you want to sign up and you can message me directly and we'll make that happen. Thank you, John. We'll see you on Friday.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Peace.